Christmas, as we all know, is coming in a couple of weeks' time. And as the old rhyme goes, fewer pennies in hats this year.
In any other year, you have to fight to get a peek of this downtown Toronto Christmas display. But this is what passes for a crowd in a pandemic lockdown. Holiday awe and wonder?
What? How about that tree?
Meet 2020. So it should come as no surprise that an Ipsos poll found that 9 out of 10 Canadians are modifying or canceling Christmas altogether.
I'm Taifour, and this is my YouTube channel, Kochi. Restrictions of movement and activity will mean a more dampened Christmas than usual. As poet Mary Oliver once said, keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. That seems just right for this year's COVID Christmas.
In 2020, holiday cheer is in short supply. Until now.
Disinfect the halls with sanitizer, fa la 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 la, until we get a cure from Pfizer, fa la 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 la.
So what will Christmas 2020 really look like? Well, it's definitely going to be the weirdest one in history. And even with the news of 2 vaccines offering hope, they're still a year away, even on an accelerated schedule. Therefore, it will be hard to avoid those dark times we're heading into during this COVID Christmas. So with coronavirus infection rates increasing again and local lockdowns coming into force, a normal Christmas seems like a wish away. So with coronavirus infection rates increasing again and local lockdowns coming into force, a normal Christmas seems like a wish that even Santa won't be able to grant. Speaking of Santa, an 8-year-old girl in the UK by the name of Courtney Wood touched the hearts of people around the world when she recently wrote a letter to Santa. The letter read, "All I would like for Christmas is for the world to go back to normal. I don't know if you can do that, but if you can, it is okay. I don't mind if I have nothing. I do have everything. Well, I do have everything I need." And just to give you an idea of how much the world has changed, this year will mark the first time in nearly 160 years that Santa Claus won't be posing for pictures at Macy's. This may not mean much to us as adults, but for children to take contactless photos, allowing for 6 feet of distancing between Santa and them, that's heart-shattering.
Good news, kids. Even COVID won't stop Santa coming to town.
Yes. Very good. All the children will be happy about that.
But he has to keep his distance when you tell him what's on your wish list.
They're going to be watching it on Zoom on their phone because of coronavirus. We can't come everyone can hear because we can't get too close.
In so many ways, COVID Christmas this year is going to be very much different.
Cape Town is a popular Christmas destination for travelers running away from the cold in their home countries. Normally it is very difficult to find a hotel during that time of the year, but this year things are going to be different. Although South Africa opened its borders for international tourists with a negative COVID test result, only few are coming.
It doesn't get much more Christmassy than this. London's Oxford streets usually buzzing with holiday shoppers, but this year standing around in big crowds isn't top of anybody's Christmas list. The UK is still under strict restrictions, but from the 23rd until the 27th of December, there'll be a brief relaxation of the rules. Up to 3 households will be allowed to meet inside, and for many of us, it's the first time we'll have seen families indoors since March. But as Prime Minister Boris Johnson put it, 'tis a season to be jolly, 'tis also a season to be jolly careful. And there are concerns we risk undoing the gains made in November's lockdown. So for some, the question this Christmas is not, can we meet loved ones? It's should we?
Christmas will not be cancelled this year in Bethlehem, said to be the birthplace of Jesus, but it will be completely different because of the corona pandemic.
I'm at Sydney's iconic Bondi Beach. It's crowded, but if you look more closely, beachgoers are practicing social distancing on the sand. Here in Australia, there is very little community transmission, and to the relief of many, COVID restrictions are easing in time for Christmas. But the country's international borders remain closed. While this festive season will be overshadowed by the pandemic, Australia's success in virtually stamping out the virus means many are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Christmas and New Year's night were always family celebrations in my childhood during the Soviet Union. People get together for a meal at home, watch Soviet films and eat. But in the last few years that changed and Russians discovered street festivals. This year everything has to change again, because mass meetings outside are prohibited. New Year's night will be intimate and small again, just like in my childhood. With one exception, which is ice skating. That remains allowed in Moscow this year, despite the pandemic. From my point of view, the most beautiful place for it is here in the legendary Gorky Park.
Here in the Spanish city of Sevilla, the Christmas lights that you see behind me stay off at the moment, even at night. The city administration is afraid of big crowds that might come and watch them. The general restrictions for Christmas here in Spain are not clear yet, but everybody knows this will be a very different festive season. Even in my own family, which is partly German and partly Spanish, we don't know what to do yet, and if we will be able to meet each other at all.
Normally, at this time of year, the place behind me would look totally different. There would be lots of Christmas market stands and the smell of roasted almonds everywhere to get you in the mood. But what I personally miss the most this December is meeting friends in the evening and drinking mulled wine together. The only thing that cheers me up this year is mulled wine to go. Cheers and Merry Christmas.
And although no two can agree that 2020 has been the strangest year in memory, I do not see why the holiday gifts cannot be as bizarre and as awkward. Therefore, what I did is I compiled for you a list of the wackiest, most weirdest and funniest gift ideas that could come to mind. Number 20, a mini beauty refrigerator. Now, if you have a skincare fanatic in the family, give them this mini beauty refrigerator and install it in their bedroom so that they won't have to put their face serums and crystal rollers in the kitchen fridge again. Talking about skin, this reminds me of a story. 3 men, a French, British, and an American, went on an expedition to the Amazon. Suddenly, men with spears jumped out of the bushes. "We're going to skin you and use your skin to make canoes," they were told. "So choose how you want to die." Now, the Frenchman asked for poison, the British for a gun, and the American for a fork. The Frenchman shouted, "Vive la France!" drank the poison and died. The British said, "Long live the Queen!" and he shot himself dead, while the American started stabbing himself with the fork and saying, "Make a canoe of this, you motherfuckers." Number 19, the non-ticking clock. Now, we all love the look of an analog movable clock, but none of us stands the horrible ticking noise. So buy the retro option with virtually silent, no ticking movement. Speaking of clocks, proudly showing off his new apartment to his girlfriend late one night, he led the way to his bedroom, which had a big brass gong. "What's that big brass gong for?" asked the girlfriend. "It's not a gong, it's a talking clock," he replied. "A talking clock? How does it work?" "Watch," he said. He picked up a hammer, gave the gong a pound, and stepped back. Now someone on the other side of the wall screamed, "Hey, you idiot! It's 3 o'clock in the morning, for fuck's sake!" Number 18, LED flashlight gloves. Now, instead of using your phone, headlamp, or flashlight to light your way to repairs, Perhaps you can stick a fresh pair of batteries in these gloves to see what you are working with. Speaking of gloves, this reminds me of a joke. A housewife takes a lover during the day while her husband is at work, not aware that her 9-year-old son was hiding in the closet. Her husband came from home unexpectedly one day, so she hid her lover in the closet. The boy now has company. The boy says, "Dark in here." The man replies, "Yes, it is." Boy says, "I have a baseball." Man says, "That's nice. Want to buy it?" "No, thanks. That's my dad outside." "How much did you say the baseball was again?" $250. In the next few weeks, it happens again that the boy and the mom's lover are in the closet together. Boy says, "Dark in here." Man says, "Yes, it is. I have a baseball glove. That's nice. Want to buy it?" "No, thanks. I think I just remembered something I needed to tell my dad." "How much did you say the glove was again?" $750. "Fine." Few days later, the father says to the boy, "Grab your glove and let's go play some baseball." The boy says, "I can't. I sold them to my friend." The father asks, "How much for?" $1,000, the boy says. The father says, "That's horrible. You are overcharging your friends. I'm taking you to church to confess." They go together to church and the boy sits in the confession booth. The boy says, "Dark in here." The priest says, "Don't start that shit again." Number 17, custom first dance song print. Now this frameable print, which you can give to your lover, features the lyrics of the first dance song of you together. But what's more important is that it will also show the exact constellation of the time and place of the special moment where you heard the song or did the dance. Speaking of lovers, a woman goes to the doctor and tells him her husband is losing interest in sex. So the doctor gives her a pill but warns her it's still being experimental. A week later, she goes back to the doctor for a follow-up. She says, "Doc, that pill you gave me worked great. I hid it in his food just like you said." It wasn't 5 minutes later that he jumped up, pushed off all the food from the table and dishes on the floor, grabbed me, ripped all my clothes off, and ravaged me right there on the table. The doctor says, "I'm sorry. We didn't realize the pill was so strong. The foundation will be glad to repay you for any damages." And the woman says, "Nah, that's okay. We're never gonna be back to that restaurant again." Number 16, building bricks waffle maker. Now, if you cannot decide whether you eat your waffles or Lego them for breakfast, get yourself a waffle maker for Christmas that will help you make any waffle sculpture you want. By the way, breasts are like Lego. They're for kids, but dads end up playing with them. Number 15, a fuck you COVID-19 sucker. Although this piece of candy may not be appropriate for the holidays, but an anti-COVID-19 sucker showing the middle finger could be ideal for the year of the pandemic. On a lighter note, at the end of each school term, a teacher had the habit of giving her students candy of different flavors, and each flavor has its own color: blueberry, dark blue, strawberry red, etc. And the students are supposed to guess the flavor. This year, the teacher gets a new flavor that no one tried yet, honey flavored, and none in the class knew what it was. So the teacher gives a hint saying, "The flavor is what your mom normally calls your dad." And then one girl stood up and spit the candy saying, "Ew, it's an asshole." Number 14, a 2020 scented candle that smells like garbage. It's a stinky year anyway, so why not tribute it with a candle that smells like rubbish? Speaking of candles, a husband came home to find candlelight dining table, his favorite meatloaf, and his wife in lingerie. She whispers to him, "I shaved my vagina. Do you know what that means?" "Oh shit, you clogged the drains again. Where is the plunger?" Number 13, remorseless 2023 ornaments. Now, knowing how horrible 2020 has been, why not send it off with a set of merry, inappropriate Christmas ornaments with forceful sentiments such as "fuck you 2020." Now, about the new year, an Irish girl goes back to her father's farmhouse for New Year's Eve, and the father asks, "What have you been doing all this time?" Crying, the girl replied, "Dad, I became a prostitute. What? You're a disgrace to this family. Yes, Dad, if that's what you think. I just came back to give Mom this fur coat, title deed to a 10-bedroom mansion, plus a savings certificate for $4 million. For my little brother, this gold Rolex, and for you, Dad, the new Mercedes limited edition convertible that's parked outside, plus a membership to the country club, and an invitation for you all to spend a fun New Year's Eve on board my new yacht in the Riviera. Now, what was it you said you had become again? Asked the dad. The girl crying again. A prostitute, Dad. Oh, I thought you said a Protestant. Come and give your old man a hug. Number 12, dog DNA test. With DNA tests so common nowadays for humans, why not for dogs? At least if you investigate their genetic roots, you may not have a bunch of unexpected relatives showing at your doorstep. By the way, for your information, a sperm has 37.5 megabytes of DNA info. So one ejaculation transfers 15,875 gigabytes of data. Number 11, an LED smart mask. With the COVID-19 pandemic face mask becoming so popular, you may be able to avoid those nasty coronaviruses, but your ability to communicate with others is becoming next to impossible. So a mask using LED lights to mimic your facial movements would make a perfect gift for Christmas. Little Johnny showed up to school butt naked except for a mask on his face. When the teacher asked why you came to school like this, he replied, "They said admittance will be with mask only, so I came with mask only." Number 10, the musical shower head. Now, combining a shower head and a speaker could turn into an immersive sensory experience. So instead of singing in the shower, your shower head can sing back to you. An ideal gift for Christmas this year. A man was telling his friend, "I hate shower sex. It's slippery, it's awkward, and one of the worst things about it is being in jail." Number 9, self-sanitizing phone case. We are living in the coronavirus age and mobile phones are known to carry germs. Therefore, during the pandemic, phone cases that are antibacterial could reduce infections while scrolling up and down your Facebook page. A man told his colleague at work, "Yesterday I was driving my car when I saw a woman driving while talking on her mobile phone. I was so pissed that I had to throw my bottle of whiskey at her." Number 8, shower wine holder. Now, what could make your shower or soothing bath even better? A nice glass of wine, but you don't want to hold it the whole time, so use a shower wine holder, a wonderful Christmassy gift. A man told his girlfriend, "Dating you is like wine. First you were sweet, then you kind of started to stink. Now you got me all screwed up." Number 7, a warm water bidet attachment. If you want to go all out on your funny Christmas gift and you're willing to spend a little bit more to do so, consider splurging on a portable bidet attachment for your dad's toilet. Now that's a bad one. What does a bidet and the 46th President-elect Biden have in common? They both clean up after assholes. Number 6, public toilet survival kit. Especially during COVID times, nothing is more horrifying than going into a public toilet. An easy-to-carry kit, complete with a toilet seat cover, antiseptic wipe, and disposable gloves, has everything you'll need to make your toilet experience as pleasant and as germ-free as possible during Christmas times. Here's a toilet joke for you. When the 2020 lockdowns happened, people bought all the toilet paper in supermarkets for their assholes. Well, that's what they claim, but in fact, they bought it because they are the assholes. Number 5, a portable pizza pouch. Well, you'll never have to worry about going hungry again this Christmas when you can stash a slice of pizza in a handy pouch hanging from your neck and grab a bite whenever the hunger kicks in. A man told his friend over a beer, "A woman locked me up in her basement for 2 months and used me as her sex slave. One day she forgot to lock the door, so I ran upstairs and grabbed the phone. Half an hour later, the pizza arrived and I went back down to the basement." Number 4, a custom pet portrait. Now, what could be better as a Christmas gift to your dog or pet than a custom pet portrait to bring out your best buddies in a masterpiece. By the way, a dog asks a cat, "Why do you always hide when you are having sex?" The cat replies, "Do you want people to steal my style like they stole yours? No way." Number 3. An Oreo flavored lip balm. Trick your cookie eating friend or your family member this Christmas into thinking you gave them their favorite snack, only to reveal that it's an Oreo flavored lip balm. A man tells his friend, "I've been putting Viagra in my milk. It doesn't help with the sex, but my Oreos don't go all soft on me anymore." Number 2. Heated slippers. First comes the giggle from putting these slippers on your partner's feet. Then comes the laugh when they learn that they warm up via a USB cord. A great idea for a cold Christmas. Now, a rich man and a poor man were standing on Madison Avenue. They were shopping and talking about gifts. The poor man asked the rich man what he got for his wife. He answered, "A diamond ring and a Mercedes." The poor man asked why. The rich man responds, "If she doesn't like the ring, she can always return it back in the Mercedes and still be happy. What did you get your wife?" And the poor man answers, "I got her a pair of slippers and a dildo." The rich man asks, "What for?" "So if she doesn't like the slippers, she can go fuck herself." Number 1. A vodka martini marmalade. Shaken, not stirred, this vodka martini hit comes in the form of a delicious marmalade. The alcohol is cooked off, so it tastes great with your morning toast, or even better, in a cucumber sandwich. Speaking of James Bond's favorite drink, a guy walks into a bar and asks for a whole bottle of vodka. The bartender sits the bottle in front of him and asks, "Oh boy, you look like shit, what happened?" The man answers, "I just found out that my brother is gay." The next day, the same guy walks into the same bar and asks for 2 bottles of vodka. The bartender asks, "Okay, what happened this time?" "Today my son confessed he is gay." The next day, once again, the same guy walks into the bar and orders 3 bottles of vodka. "Dude, is there anyone in your family that likes women?" asks the bartender. "Yes," answers the man, "my wife." Now, to conclude, let us reflect for a moment here. It's undeniably been a tough year, and one many will be happy to move on from. But as we approach Christmas, however different it might be this year, it is important we take stock of the positives whenever and wherever we can. It certainly doesn't have to be a miserable Christmas. It can be a time for reflection, rest, connection, and creating new memories that could make it a Christmas like no other. It's all up to you how you want to spend your Christmas this year. Christmas 2020 will be etched in your memory for a long time, that's for sure. But always remember that you have a choice which memories you can retain in your mind. This is Major J. Taifour saying, Merry Christmas.